Hollow shore on Orr Creek at Faversham is ideal for keeping a wooden boat. The berth is idyllic and peaceful, with open fields and trees on one side and the fascinating creek with its ever-changing ebb and flow of the tide. Here we are down the creek past a seal sunning itself, or conveniently moored to a buoy just outside the creek, with historical Thames barges a common sight. Crossing the Thames Estuary, we are often out of sight of land. From Faversham, it was a short hop via Dover across the very busy shipping lanes to Boulogne and down the coast of Normandy. We visited Saint-Valery-sur-Somme, Le Tréport, cycling to EU, on to Dieppe, Saint-Valery-en-Caux, and finally Fécamp. Leaving the Swale with a good breeze, past the Maplin buoy, rounding the Crouch River entrance. The otter helm is almost essential when single-handed. For a Thames crossing, it is usually important to identify each buoy. One of many Thames barges. At the end of the Blackwater, extensive mud berths, or comfortable mooring in Heybridge Basin. The Orwell was my favourite river for sailing Dabchick, visiting historic Pin Mill with the boatyard where the original Peter Duck was built, lovely walks by the sea marshes on both the Levington and Wolverston sides of the river, and maybe seeing Ransome's yacht Nancy Blackhead. We sailed Dabchick up the lovely River Deben, using the historic Martello Towers to guide us in. Further upriver, we passed Arthur Ransome's original Peter Duck at her mooring. We always enjoyed our visits to the lovely Suffolk town of Woodbridge, with its tide mill and the nearby historic site at Sutton Hoo. Lovely sail. Lovely sail. 44 broad reach all the way. And crew has just supplied lunch. A peaceful anchor in the little river of the Orr, about a mile from Orfordness, after crossing from the Orwell, Suffolk Yacht Harbour at Levington yesterday. There's Orford Lighthouse, Orfordness Lighthouse. From Butley River, we motored to pick up a buoy at Orford, with its impressive 12th century keep. After a day motoring up the Alder past Alderborough, we spent another night at the buoy. The next morning we motored downriver past the iconic wartime structures and out to sea. Sailing north past Orfordness, its lighthouse now no longer in existence, with a reef domain when necessary. Dabchick entered the Norfolk Broads at Lowestoft, and we spent a pleasant week exploring before heading out to sea again in thundery weather with spectacular skies. Competent crew. Meeting other Peter Duck yachts is a frequent occurrence. After a night at Queenborough Buoy to catch the tide, going up the Thames, past the Barrier and Canary Wharf, past historic Greenwich and on to Tower Bridge with the fenders ready, to lock into St Catherine's Dock for a pleasant few days in London. Leaving Tower Bridge behind, we had a good sail back with the tide to Faversham and up the Swale to tie up at our home berth in Orr Creek. After a few years based in Faversham, we decided to make a nostalgia trip to the Solent. Stopping at Dover and Eastbourne, we then enjoyed the stunning views of Beachy Head with its two lighthouses. It was a lovely summer, sunny day with only a light breeze, perfect for a relaxed sail and taking photographs. This headland was followed by a gentle sail past the long array of Seven Sisters cliffs. After Brighton, we spent a few days exploring Portsmouth Harbour, and then a nostalgic trip up the Bewley River on a cloudy afternoon, past our old mooring and back, reminded us of past cruises. This was followed by Lymington and then on to Keyhaven, with good views of Hurst Castle. But this was our furthest point westward, and we returned to enter Newtown Creek for a night. Our homeward trip started with thick fog at Selsey Bill, but the navionics chart on my phone brought us safely to the entrance to Littlehampton, where we entered the river and tied up with some relief. The next day we continued eastward to Brighton and Eastbourne and Dover. Dover was a frequent port of call for Dabchick, and we often stopped to visit the castle or walk on the cliff tops to Broadstairs. Here we are waiting for permission on VHF radio to exit the harbour after the ferry. We had a lovely walk up there yesterday. Absolutely beautiful.
Found the National Trust place.
Yes.
There.
First mate, competent.
Battered.
On our trips to Holland, after leaving Ramsgate, we put into Dunkirk or Newport and Ostend en route to Vlissingen. On the peaceful inland waterways, favourite places were Middelburg and Hoos. Here we sometimes took advantage of good train connections to visit Delft and Amsterdam.
Zee in the Zeeland water.
Dabchick safely moored in Veer and gently sailing on the Veersemeer. Bicycles ready for shore use, safely tied up at the town quay of Hoos. And another typical mooring. Zierikzee with Dabchick in a rather crowded pontoon. Leaving Zierikzee on our way home. Engine has been off for the last 15 minutes. Halfway home, passing the famous Sandetti light vessel. From Hollowshore Faversham to Walton Backwaters, Arthur Ransome's secret water, was one of my favourite trips, either with Rosalind or, this time, single-handed. Day 4, Friday. That's us, Gibraltar Point to North Foreland, inshore. 6 or 7, occasionally gale 8. Later decreasing 4 or 5, that looks good. Outlook, aha, Saturday. West or southwest 4 or 5, occasionally 6. Later varying northwest 3 or 4. Sounds good. Day 5. Alarm set 5 o'clock, cast off at 10 to 6, tied up to a buoy at 6:15 and set off down the swale at 7 o'clock. It's a beautiful morning. Quite a few boats out there, all taking the ebb tide like me. And they may be either going to Ramsgate or crossing the Thames. But it's a beautiful morning. And Dabchick looks perfect. It's a run, so the jib is flapping a little bit. We're doing about 5 knots with the tide, so it's very nice. Lovely, steady force 5. A little bit of a sea. Absolutely beautiful. Entered the Swin channel. It's much calmer. We're on a broad reach. Continuing up the Swin past Maplin Buoy. As usual on these trips from Faversham, it was too late to catch the tide into Walton Backwaters, so I headed west and then up the River Colne to Brightlingsea, to be greeted by the most friendly and efficient harbour master and crew on the east coast. The pontoons are an extremely pleasant and quiet spot to moor. The next day, Dabchick proceeded down the River Colne, with the old nuclear power station visible on the Blackwater. Some ominous clouds passed, and I headed east to round Walton Tower and reach Pye End Buoy to enter Walton Backwaters and drop anchor. What more could one ask for? Everything. England, France. Where would I be without a depth sounder? Can anything be more idyllic? As close to heaven as one could possibly get. Using the dinghy to explore Walton Backwaters with its beautiful scenery around Kirby Creek and Landomere Creek. Could this be where Titty saw the seal in Arthur Ransome's Secret Water? Homeward bound, south past the red sand forts. Back home at Old Creek, a rainy end to a wonderful East Coast week sailing. East Coast force 5 gusting 6 with Rosalind at helm. Should be.
It's the first recording I've got of him this holiday, which is telling because all the work. He's very, very happy today because we've come back across the Thames, just coming into the swing on a run. Follow David's finger. There we are. Sand end. Right, and we're going to take a mooring in the swale for the night before we go.
With old age approaching, 10 years older than Arthur Ransome when he gave up sailing, and living in Oxford far from the sea, I took the incredibly hard decision to let Dabchick find a new owner. I've sailed this lovely Peter Duck ketch for almost 20 years, from the Beaulieu River, exploring the south coast of England, northern France, moored in Paris and moored in London, and explored the lovely East Coast rivers and creeks, plus trips to Holland. Occasionally with my brothers and my children, Chris, Hélène, Philippe, but every year with my reliable first mate Rosalind, which leaves me with many great memories, which I hope to have shared with these 2 videos. Since I was told that this Peter Duck PD3 has had her original name changed from Dabchick, all I can say now is rest in peace Dabchick and long live PD3.